G'day, Mike Smith here. Just want to tell you a story about this guy up on the screen here. This is a photo from Mars, and it was taken by the rover. And the full picture is, I'll just show you here. So you can see the Martian rover here, and the Martian landscape and the sky. And one of the interesting images that came back from Mars was this little guy here. As you can see, he looks like a little bloke sitting on a rock, and the image has been enhanced as much as possible, and it kind of looks like there's a head there and an arm, and he's sitting there just gazing out over the crater. So I thought, wow, wouldn't it be kind of cool to think about what that guy might have thought as the rover from Earth trundled past. What might he have been thinking about? And then so I wrote a poem about that, and then I'll give you a bit of the backstory as well. Okay, so my poem's here on the left hand side, and I'll just introduce it first, and then tell you a little bit of the backstory to this guy who is referred to as that teeny little Bigfoot on Mars. And the title of my poem is Pale Blue Dot Ambassador. Now, the pale blue dot is a reference to Carl Sagan, the famous astronomer, and he thought about the Earth as viewed from space as a kind of a small, not very bright, slightly bluish dot in the night sky. And that's what it would look like from Mars, and perhaps, you know, Saturn and Jupiter. And his thinking was, you know, this Earth of ours seems big and magnificent to us, but really in the scale of the universe, or even just the scale of our solar system, it's really quite small, and maybe we should look after it. But anyway, so the robot, the rover, of course, was an ambassador from Earth, and so I thought, well, the little guy on the rock would probably try to welcome this visitor from Earth to Mars. It would be the first visitor, I suppose, that he would have seen, and he's a pretty hospitable guy. So he's talking about a welcome to our robot traveller here, and thinking about the Mars rover as a kind of ambassador from Earth. And of course, he wouldn't get very many visitors, so it would be a bit of a treat to him. Okay, so I will read you this story in a minute, and there's the last line I've just hidden here, because I need to give you the backstory first. Okay, so I'll do that now. Okay, so let's have a look at this article by Emily Lakdawala, and I'll just make that a bit bigger for you so you can see. All right, so she's an astronomer, and she's taken this photo here and just kind of explained, well, you know, it might not really be a guy sitting on a rock. It's a very famous image, and lots of people have speculated on, yeah, there really is life on Mars. But okay, so they looked at the cameras. Now I'll just give you a picture of the rover again. So this is the rover here, and it's kind of a composite picture, but there's a camera up here, and in fact they've got a couple of cameras, and they can take kind of angled photo to give you a bit of perspective and distance, much like your eyes do, so you can gauge distance. And that's what your eyes also use in conjunction with your brain sort of processing the image to sort of figure out how big things are by looking at their apparent size and also judging their distance. So that's what they did with this. Okay, now this is the high resolution picture that was originally taken, and the guy is over here, over there, in that far left hand corner. So let me zoom in there, and I'll just have to show you where he is. Okay, zoom, and okay. So can you see the little guy there? I'll just make him a bit bigger. There he is, on the edge of the crater. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'll just let that image settle down. There he is there on the edge of the crater. and for all the world looks like a little bloke sitting on a rock looking out over the landscape. Okay, so but what they did, now I'll just zoom back again. What they did was they used the multiple cameras on the rover here to actually measure the distance to that person. And if you were imagining that was actually a humanoid of about our size, how far would that be away? Probably, I don't know, say 20 meters or something like that, maybe a bit more. Oh, maybe even, yeah, but maybe much further than that, perhaps a couple of swimming pools away. But when they measured the perspective, and they do that in this article, to show you. So scroll down here. They took photos from slightly different angles, and here you can see there's a 3D, a twin image there, so they can actually work out what the distance is to that thing. And as Emily says up here, now where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see now. Okay, yeah, here it is. Yep. So you can determine that Bigfoot is actually only about 5 meters from the rover. So that distance from here to there is actually only 5 meters, quite close. And because of that, what that means is that the little guy's only about 6 centimeters tall. So he's probably not really a Bigfoot and not really a person. But it's a great story, and it's a great image, and it's a great legend. So anyway, really, he's just a bit of rock, and it's a trick of light. So I thought, well, okay, I still think that he might want to welcome our rover, and that's what caused me to write this poem about little Bigfoot, the rock, looking at the rover. And I'll read that to you next. Okay, so let me read this poem to you. Pale Blue Dot Ambassador. I wrote this a couple of years ago in 2013. A red dusty welcome, robot traveller, yon pale blue dot's ambassador. Visitors are rare here, as you can see. If you'd called ahead, there'd be scones and tea, parades, a key, and my best winter frock. Then again, perhaps not, as I'm only a rock. Thank you.